Hello again from my front porch, where I am joined tonight here by a really good friend of mine who I am honored to have here, Tammy Edwards. And Tammy, I just have to brag on Tammy just a little bit because Tammy, a lot of people talk about, I have a dream of wanting to do blah, 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 whatever, and then they just keep talking about the dreams that they want to go do. Tammy's not one of those people. She doesn't wait for the dreams to come to her. If she wants to do something, she goes after it. And so she writes music and has recorded her own songs, has some CDs of her own songs. She writes not just songs but stories, books, articles, those kind of things. She also knows can play musical instruments. I can play tambourine. But she can actually play real instruments and knows them well enough that she teaches other people how to do how to play those instruments, and so that's impressive as well. There's something else. This one travels a lot too. She's always posting on social media about the cruises that she goes on and things like that. A lot of people are like, oh, I'd love to go see this, go see. She just goes. She just makes it happen. You go do it. So,
that's right. It's been a while.
Yeah, but so good for you.
Thank you.
I'm very. But she actually recently added another thing to that list of stuff that Tammy has done. And that's what we ultimately are going to talk about here today. But before we get there, I want to first just say, Tammy, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And is there anything else about the life of Tammy that you wanted to share?
You pretty much covered it really well, didn't you?
Stole all our thunder.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, no, I've been writing music since I was 16, which was a long time ago. And I always dreamed of going to Nashville and recording, so I did that for years. Did 4 different CDs, which include a Christmas CD.
Beautiful music.
Well, thank you.
And from a beautiful voice too.
Well, thank you. That's very kind of you. Right now I sound like Marge Simpson.
Yeah. We were comparing notes that this time of year is bad on both of us because we have the sinus thing, where this time of year the sinuses just flare up and fill up and it drains and it causes you to cough and tickle and now and then and stuff. And so I think we're both sucking on lozenges right now.
Yeah, mine's in my lap right now. But yeah.
But so that we're trying to compensate so you don't have to deal with all of that. But there might still be a little now and again. But deal with it. It's that time of year. But you speaking of the sinuses, the throat clearing, the time of year, it's not odd transition, but I'm going to use it anyway. That you had an issue with something that you came down with something twice. Now, don't jump ahead of me. We're not saying COVID. That's not what we're focusing on here. This is something completely different. Tell us about what you came down with.
Okay, so I was initially afraid of catching COVID. And so I've been a mask wearer for a long time because I discovered in the fall of 2019 I had adult onset asthma. And excuse me if you hear me clearing my throat, I apologize. So I was very vigilant and careful about wearing my mask all the time. Made it a couple years until the summer of 2021. I came down with something that they never really identified at the time. I had a lot of friends with it. A lot of people were catching something that had a cough that would last for weeks, upwards of 6 weeks. And back then they either tested you for COVID or sometimes influenza A or B.
Yeah.
But they weren't testing for what you now see on TV a lot, RSV, which you're seeing commercial for that. And I will try to say it correctly. Respiratory syncytial virus is the official name.
It's that S word in there that's the problem child. Syncytial.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I'm not sure exactly.
Well, so let's just talk about RSV. I will say, I was familiar with RSV outside of Tammy because Lisa works in childcare. She works in Head Start, and RSV is very common in children.
Oh yes.
And so they were seeing waves of RSV. Once it was finally diagnosed and identified, they were seeing waves of it going through the kids there, and the question was asked by the staff members, are we in danger for this? And they were initially told, no, this is just kids. So that's my lead in for you. That's my setup for you.
Yeah, here we go. Now explain, it is not just for kids. It is it's anyone can get it. I don't know how it became so contagious and more dangerous during the COVID outbreak, but maybe our immune systems aren't accustomed to taking that on. Excuse me. But looking back to the summer of 2021, I didn't realize it at the time, but I did have RSV, and so did my friends, and I really struggled to get through it. My pulmonary doctor did give me antibiotics and a steroid, which you're usually put on that if you have underlying health conditions, and didn't think much about it till the fall of 2022, which was just about exactly a year ago. I was babysitting my grandkids. They had been really, really sick, and with bad coughs and a lot of phlegm and just a lot of chest stuff. And my daughter said, "Oh, they did test positive for RSV, but don't worry, you'll be fine. Just put a mask on, Mom." So I did, and I thought, well, if I got a mask on, I think I'll be okay.
But one of the things that we, figured out eventually with the masks is they're more about protecting others from you than necessarily protecting you from others.
Right. The thing you need to know about RSV is when someone breathes or sneezes or coughs, the droplets that come from the respiratory tract, they enter through your mouth, your nose, or your eyes. So I didn't have any eye gear on, no glasses, no shield, anything.
So even with the mask covering nose and mouth, you still,
So I was holding my grandbaby, and he had issues. But what are you going to do with the 1-year-old? I didn't want to go stay away.
Well, you're not going to not hold your grandbaby.
I had to hold him. He was crying. He needed taken care of. And
sure, he was probably miserable.
Yeah, right. When I picked him up, I thought, well, I've got the mask on, and children that are that age don't learn from school. The teachers that, hey, cover with the elbow when you sneeze. They just, achoo. And I went, there it is, there it is. At the time, when I thought that I might be safe with that mask on when he sneezed, I didn't know that respiratory droplets can go in through your eyes. So within 24 to 48 hours, I began to have symptoms that were like someone had taken a bucket of mucus, and it just came down through here and through my nose, and it stayed. And then I ran a fever for like 4 or 5 days. That fever went like 99, 100, 101, back down. Then I thought I'm better, and then it crept back up. And I thought, what is this monster I'm battling? I ended up going to the urgent care 3 times to have them listen to my lungs and my everything. Just tell me I'm okay, please. And I said, please run a test. Run all the influenza tests. Run a COVID test. And before, they had denied me RSV because they said adults are fine. They'll just get over it like a cold. And I said, well, I don't think so. I think this is a different beast we're battling. So they said, we'll run one. And then I checked my phone, where you can go on to the what is it called? The portal where you can check your medical records.
Yep.
And it said positive for RSV, and I went, aha! I knew it. And so when I was going through these symptoms, which did last 6 weeks this time, and I missed 2 weeks of work.
And you got this twice.
I got it twice within 2 years, and it mimicked the symptoms I had in that summer of 2021. So then I knew I was positive for RSV.
The second time you got it, you're like, I know what this is.
Yeah, I knew what it is. It's exactly the same.
Yep.
And I just thought, this is, for me, it was worse than COVID. I know people don't like to talk about COVID, but when I had COVID, I had the vaccines, and I had, I think I got it from summer school. And I was lucky to get Paxlovid, is what they put on people. It's a little 5-day treatment, which saves people's lives. I was over it in 2 days. I was symptom-free and negative in 2 days.
It's amazing what happens when you're properly diagnosed and given medication that works.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about, people, because I know a lot of people, they're here and there with the vaccine, to vaccinate, don't vaccinate, medications, no medication. But I trust my doctors. I have a team of doctors that have taken care of me for years. They have my best interest at heart. And I think everyone needs to find a doctor that takes care of them. And we need to listen to them. I know a lot of people who just go, oh, I'm just going to do it my way, as Frank Sinatra sings, do it my way. Well, Guess what happens if sometimes you do it your way? I've had friends hospitalized.
I have at least one friend, a couple of acquaintances that are no longer with us because they took on that. Now, I also have an ocean of friends who never even got the vaccine and they're still fine, they're doing great. But you know, these other individuals, they had underlying issues that they should have taken more serious.
Right. Yes, and I did lose my father to COVID, but he had survived cancer and unfortunately caught COVID, and he was elderly. He was 90 and had a beautiful life.
Which is an underlying issue.
But it is being elderly and recovering 6 months from
being
cancer.
diabetic like I am. Yeah.
So many people have underlying conditions. You don't think they are, but all autoimmune issues and in diabetes, heart disease, asthma, COPD, we could name the list. It doesn't mean you just ignore that when you have symptoms come on. Unfortunately, now a cold isn't always just a cold. We have a wide garden variety of different things.
It's like it used to be, oh, you're sick, you have the flu. You know, blah, blah, go and have some chicken soup, you'll be fine. Now, it's like you go in, you get tested, and there's this whole range that, you know, you're somewhere on this scale, you know, COVID and RSV and cold and flu and, you know, influenza A, influenza B, and, you know, all these other variety of different things. So you got RSV twice, and the second time especially, you were on top of it, and you were able to get it taken care of much faster. So out of that experience now, you got contacted by Pfizer.
Yes, that's another whole story in itself. Sometimes I used to always say, because I never really made it big in the music business, I said, why haven't I been found? But the truth is, you can be found in the middle of a cornfield, and here's how. Social media is powerful. I was responding on a Facebook page for RSV people who've gotten RSV, and that's a lot of mothers who had babies in the hospital. Teachers, elderly people with autoimmune, and they were all responding, help me, I've got a fever, this is horrible, I can hardly breathe, I can't sleep. So having recovered from it twice myself, I was actually going on, because I consider it a ministry to go and help other people, especially if I've been through something. So I was typing, you'll be okay, do this for your baby, and you know, I'm not a doctor or a nurse.
Giving some advice.
But giving advice, being helpful.
Good for you.
Casting director from Hollywood found me and texted me, and I kind of ignored her a couple of times.
And so which Marvel movie are you casting?
Right, yeah. I didn't ignore her, but I thought, yeah, right. Because you know, people do that on Facebook.
Scams.
It's a scam, it's a scam. There is no way that someone from Hollywood, a casting director, wants to FaceTime me or whatever. What's the other thing they do? But Zoom or whatever.
Web meeting.
Right. I was like, this is not real. And finally she's writing me, I'm serious, I want to talk to you about this. I've seen you talking to people. And we're going to make a commercial about RSV, and we're interviewing numerous people from across the country. But we like how you're responding to people, and we'd like to talk to you.
So it wasn't just that you had RSV; it was that you were offering advice, and you know, not. I mean, some people would be very jaded by the experience, and they would be, you know, sarcastic or condescending or rude to people, but obviously just normally isn't your style anyway. But you were actually trying to help, give some. I'll say homespun advice, only because you're not a doctor.
Right.
That list of other talents, one of them is not a certified medical professional.
No.
But you were still, from your experience, you were sharing, and that caught Pfizer's attention.
Yes. It was a casting director contacted by Pfizer to go and search for people. Excuse me, like they found me. So finally I agreed to the Zoom call. And there she came up, and I won't say her name because they like everything private.
Like anonymity.
It's got to be private. And I looked her up and I went, oh, she is real. And here's the people she's worked with and the movies she's set people up with. And I went, wow. So she found me in the cornfield. Okay. So I did this interview.
Diamond in the rough.
I did the interview, and then a month went by, and I thought they would have contacted me. In fact, it extended almost 2 months, 6 weeks to 8 weeks. So I thought they must have found someone else.
That was a nice chat, but they
yeah, it was
on.
nice.
Okay, yeah.
And then suddenly, we really like you, but we want to do like a second interview, and this time we're bringing people from Pfizer in on the Zoom call.
Oh, wow.
And they're from New York City. I went, okay, well, let me get
big
all
boys.
dolled up a little
yeah.
bit. We gotta, gotta get the, makeup on and look okay here. The interview was successful, and the next thing I know, maybe a couple weeks later, now we're getting into this past summer, they let me know that I was the one chosen. They wanted someone from the Midwest. I was from Iowa. And I was chosen, and in about 6 to 8 weeks, they'd be flying to Iowa with a couple people from Hollywood and a couple extra people to help them. They had a film director and a cinematographer and the actual lady from Pfizer who was in charge of the RSV video commercial.
And you did share a little bit about that on social media, about the behind the scenes of what was going on. Looked like they descended on your house and and took over.
This is funny because I live in a humble rental townhouse. I don't have a house. Well, that's not nice of me to say. I do have a roof over my head. But I said, let's film at my daughter's house, one of my daughter's houses, because they have a beautiful house. And they're like, no, we want people to see right where you live, and because a lot of people will be able to relate to a person like me who lives paycheck to paycheck, right where I'm at, substitute teacher, piano, guitar teacher, whatever, after school, just gutting it out. And we weren't going to film any dirty dishes or anything. We were just going to zoom in on the room that I teach in, kind of follow me walking out the door. I said, okay, that's nice, but I'm a little nervous about this Hollywood director and the cinematographer who work with people on Star Wars and other things to grab a cup of coffee from my humble little kitchen, and I don't even have the right coffee. I had like tiramisu. I didn't have the regular coffee. But anyway, they were so nice. I brought some breakfast in for them, and we spent a total of like 14 hours together.
Wow.
A couple hours the night before, like 10 or more hours that day. A little bit in the evening, we went to Winterset and filmed on the bridges of Madison County.
Because if you're not from Iowa, you start talking about Iowa. Oh yeah, that's where the bridges of Madison County are, or the Field of Dreams. It's all from movies and TV show things and stuff.
And they were pretty. They loved that. That was kind of a magical thing. It's the name of the bridge and Bridges of Madison County, and it was like so magical to be there. And I said, well, you guys get in there. We need to take some pictures of you standing at the bridge too.
Hi, I'm Tammy Edwards, and I'm a mother of 2 daughters. I have 9 grandchildren. I'm also a private music teacher and a substitute teacher. The wonderful thing about having my grandkids in this area is I get to see them all the time. I just don't want to miss a moment of their lives. The fall of 2019, I started to get this cough I could not get rid of. I contracted RSV from my grandson. I thought I was safe. I had always thought, oh, that's a kid's thing. I was sick in bed for a good 10 to 12 days. I began thinking, how am I going to be around children, which is my job, and my grandchildren? I would just love for everyone to take this seriously, because you don't know how it will affect you if and when you get it. Going through RSV wasn't in vain. I can help other people. So there's my story.
I just really want people to know what RSV is and to protect themselves. I hate to say, if you hear someone coughing, put a mask on. It's really hard to go, I'm sorry, but that cough you have, is that a cold? Is that the beginning of RSV? Or are we looking at COVID? Or which kind of cough do you have?
Well, the problem, the core issue or the foundational issue of that is the people who are the ones who are sick don't take personal responsibility to prevent spreading it to other people. Now, sometimes someone, I have to go to work, or I don't have a choice. I totally understand that. But even in that instance, you could wear a mask. You could try to do your best to keep distance from other people. But there are some people who, and I see it all the time when I'm traveling, on airplanes and airports and stuff, where literally I've been on airplanes, and I thank my lucky stars that I'm not buying. But I'll sit down in my seat on an airplane, and somewhere several rows back, I hear not just kids but adults. And I'm like, oh my God, he's coughing up a lung. And I'm just like, I am so glad I'm not sitting next to this person. But it's like, as clear as the cough is, I guarantee you they're not wearing anything to cover that.
Oh, sure they're not.
But
it's people like me, like right now I'm healthy, knock on wood right here. It's people like me wearing a mask because those who are sick refuse to.
Yeah.
That's the problem, because it's so embarrassing, I guess.
Stigmatized.
It's like, that's the naughty mask.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that shouldn't be that way. Over in Asia, they for years have been accustomed to, please, cover your mouth, wear the mask if you're sick, in courtesy of everyone else around you. You don't know if someone else has an underlying health condition. But in America, there must be something that is embarrassing.
Well, it rubs people the wrong way to, the whole freedom thing. You can't tell me to wear a mask. I defy that. I don't think somebody who doesn't need to wear a mask shouldn't have to wear a mask. But the problem again is the people who do need to wear a mask don't wear them, and so
they're like, coughing everywhere.
Now so you have this experience filming this commercial, okay? Why does Pfizer? Why are they filming this commercial? What's the point?
Okay, the point is to make people aware of RSV, and that they're in my film or my documentary. I am not promoting the vaccine, because truthfully, I have to tell you, you have to be 60. I just turned 59. I can't believe I'm saying that on camera.
Edit, cut.
cut. I'm really 39. But you have to be a certain age. You have to be like under 2 and over 60, according to the CDC. However, I had 3 doctors prescribe the vaccine to me, and my insurance company pushed it through and said, we'll pay for it.
No.
I was denied
That's good for the insurance company.
I was denied by the CDC and pharmacists.
Really?
And they will not give me the vaccine for another year.
This is the part of the story. Now, I didn't realize that I knew you'd been denied. I thought it was just the pharmacy. I didn't know it was CDC.
No, CDC denied me.
That's bizarre. But that's like they have not learned anything.
No.
But the part of that piece of the story that I thought was bizarre was the poster girl for RSV, who had it twice and talks about it in a documentary, is now told you can't get the shot.
But I know, and I'm actually advertising for them. It's not false advertising, because we didn't say during my documentary, please go get vaccinated. I didn't say that. There's no vaccine symbol up there. It's not like, go get your vaccine now. I didn't say
they
that.
may edit it together with some other people talking about getting the vaccine, that you're in this video, but for your part, you didn't.
For my part, I do not promote the vaccine. What I'm promoting in this video is awareness. RSV awareness is to be careful around your grandchildren, young children, if you're working in a daycare, if you're working in a school, if you're flying on an airplane and hearing someone cough up a lung from the row behind you, you might want to slip on a mask for your own safety, because that air does recirculate.
But the air on the airplanes is safe.
Okay.
That's that's what we were told.
Right. And as you get to Disney World or Cancun, and suddenly you and your family come down with the sniffles, and you're in your room for the next week, missing the $10,000 vacation that you all spent. You can thank so-and-so that coughed up the lung on the back part of the plane.
C11D. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, I'm just saying, what the whole purpose is safety. It's safety. Just being aware of people around you. If someone says, our family's had a fever, we've been sick, slip a mask on. I'm not, at some point, when I get to have the vaccine, or if I can pull some strings.
That's just so weird.
It is weird,
your
and I have
doctor
people
prescribed it.
I know it.
You've got the insurance. I would have thought the insurance would have been the obstacle.
Nope.
The insurance would have been like, we don't know if we want to pay for it.
No. It's covered. It's covered.
But if they hadn't paid for it, you shared something online. It's like $350.
It's $394
$394
at Costco. And then I forgot the other place, but it's going to run you $350 to $400
if you pay for it out of your pocket.
if you pay out of pocket.
And that's if you're allowed to even get it.
If you're allowed to get it.
That's the part that still just blows my mind. If I have a doctor tell me that the prescription I should get it, my insurance company says they're going to pay for it, and I have a history of having the virus in this case, then what's the problem?
I know, I don't get it. I don't. We got to bring a change, because these changes should happen, because there are exceptions to every rule. We know that, and people who are autoimmune compromised. I don't think they should have to be, you have to be exactly 60, because they said to me, let's see that license. Okay, you're 59. No for you. And I just went.
Yeah, like there's something magical about the number of years you've been on the planet.
And that's what qualifies you. And then I had the pharmacist tell me, if we give you this vaccine, we're going to get a fine, and we cannot be fined. And I said, well, I wanted to say a few other things, but I didn't.
Again, apparently the CDC apparently learned nothing from COVID. We now have an actual documented disease. We have a vaccine to address the disease, but we are making it difficult to access.
Yes.
As opposed to making it easy to access. That just is so counterintuitive.
It is.
But didn't mean to do this episode to rag on CDC about it, although they deserve it in this case. So you're just out of luck. You're not. You have to wait till
Miss
till your
Tammy,
next birthday comes around.
Next birthday comes, you'll be seeing me in this mask for a while.
So you have no. Can you call up your contacts at Pfizer and say, hey?
Yeah, I've actually thought about it. I thought about, can you hook me up? I helped you out. Just come and fly in with the little.
We know Pfizer has influence on the CDC. Come on.
Come on, man. I'm begging.
Yeah.
And I never begged for anything in my life. I have, but I've never begged for a vaccine. Who's begged to get a vaccine, right? And who's actually wished they were a year older? Not me, until right now.
Pardon me, Governor. May I have a vaccine?
It's awful.
So I thank you, Tammy, for sharing about this. So again, the real takeaway is not just CDC. Shame on you. That is a takeaway. But the real takeaway is RSV is a very real, legitimate thing. It does disproportionately impact children and elderly. But it is not exclusive to those groups, and especially if you are around those groups a lot, like a teacher, like a caregiver, like even just an adult child taking care of their elderly parent, whatever or holding your grandbaby, if you're in those kind of scenarios, as an adult, you may still be able to contract RSV.
Absolutely.
And if you're not under 2 years old or over 60, you're gonna have to tough it out.
Yeah, that's basically what I found out is, Tammy, you're gonna have to tough it out. And that's what I said as I walked away from the pharmacist. I said, wish me luck, because it'll be a year before I can get this protection.
That still just blows my mind. That is insane. So hopefully, because these episodes go on YouTube, and so hopefully somebody will share this. And hopefully it makes the rounds, and somebody that has some authority will see it and go, wait a minute, that doesn't really make any sense. You think? You think?
And maybe we can make a change. And these Pfizer, the video, and we have 40,000 views on Twitter right now. So people are watching. They're watching.
Okay, when we sign off, I have to get a paper. I have to get her autograph. It's like.
No. No, he's silly.
All right. Well, Tammy, again, I thank you for being here. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you being here and for sharing really important information, because not just for your own protection for RSV, but the protection of others around you too. So that if you contract this and you're not in one of those bookended age groups, you have it. You're there at this point. Apparently, there's no treatment for you available, and so you have to not only deal with it yourself, but you also have to be careful not to spread it to other people. You have some obligation there. So be alert, be aware. It's a pain in the butt, all the stuff that we learned during COVID, but wear your mask, wash your hands, cover when you cough and sneeze, even if you're not wearing the mask. try to keep your distance from others. If you can, if you feel that you're not feeling well, I don't care if it's COVID or RSV or just cold.
Right.
You feel like you're not feeling well, try whatever you can to keep your distance from other people. Don't let yourself just go about your day in normal the way that you do if you can possibly help it, because that is how we prevent people from contracting and things spreading. Is when the person who is carrying it is more mindful of others around them, and we like people to be giving and generous and share, but not when it comes to being sick.
That's right. That's right.
So, all right. Well, we'll wrap this one up, and this has been a really interesting one. It's been a while since I did a really meaty educational video.
It is educational.
Most of them are just Paul out here just blabbering about whatever random stuff comes to his mind. But this was important, and I was glad that Tammy was able to work in.
Thank you.
Coming in and joining and talking to us about this. So with that, I'm going to let Tammy go, and I will see you all next time from my front porch.